Investment banks underwrite new debt and equity security for all types of corporation, aid on sale of securities, and help to facilitate mergers and acquisition, reorganization, and broker trades for both institution and private investors. Investment banks also provide guidance to issuer regarding the issue of placement of stocks. Good morning, ma'am. Welcome to Central Bank.
Good morning.
I am Jubel M. Ross, the manager of this bank.
I am Jane Reyes. Nice to meet you.
Miss Reyes, how may I help you?
Well, I'm planning to invest.
Miss Reyes, this is the best bank for you.
Really? Why should I invest in this bank?
First, because our bank is one of the most trusted bank in the world. Second, our bank is one of the highest rate of investment. Our bank offers 12% interest rate, and you are safe here.
Sounds good.
Miss Reyes, you have two options in investing.
Really? What are those?
The first one is simple interest.
What about it?
Simple interest is the amount of interest earned on the original amount of money invested. Simple interest is paid out as it is earned and does not become part of an account's interest-bearing balance.
What if I invest 1 million in 10 years?
Your investment of 1 million will gain 120,000 yearly. After 10 years, your total interest earned is 1,200,000 pesos. What can you say about this, Miss Reyes?
Not bad. What if I invest 10,000 pesos in 5 years?
If you invested 10,000 pesos in the rate of 12% for 5 years, your investment of 10,000 pesos will gain an interest of 1,200 yearly. After 5 years, the total of the interest you've earned is 6,000 pesos.
And if I invest 5,000 pesos for 5 years, how much interest I will earn?
Miss Reyes, if you invested 5,000 pesos at 12% interest rate for 5 years, your 5,000 pesos will earn an interest of 3,000 pesos after 5 years.
How about the other option?
Miss Reyes, the other option is compound interest. Compound interest is when the interest you earn on balance in savings or investing account is reinvested, earning you more interest.
How about I invest 1 million compounded annually in 10 years?
Miss Reyes, let's say you invested 1 million pesos at 12% interest rate compounded annually for 10 years. Your principal amount of 1 million, in first year it will gain 120,000 pesos. But in the second year, it will become 134,400. Simply because your principal earn an interest as well as the interest. Miss Reyes, in 10 years, the total interest you've earned will accumulated to 2 million.
Sounds good. What if 10,000 pesos in 5 years compounded annually?
Example, ma'am, if you invested 10,000 pesos in the rate of 12% compounded annually for 5 years. Ma'am, your 10,000 pesos will gain 7,623.42 after 5 years.
How about 5,000 pesos at compounded annually?
If you invested 5,000 pesos at 12% rate compounded annually for 5 years, your 5,000 will gain 3,811.708 pesos after 5 years.
I just wondering, what's the difference between simple interest and compound interest?
Miss Reyes, the difference between compound interest and simple interest is, as you can see, Miss Reyes, your 10,000 pesos will gain only 1,200 every year. It's because simple interest is earned only on the principal amount. Unlike the compound interest, the interest you've earned in every year will gain interest too.
Can I sign now the contract?
Thank you, Ms. Reyes. Again, this is Jubal M. Ross at your service.
Good day, sir. Welcome to Suprasets International Bank.
Good day to you too, sir.
I'm Ariel Rigor, the manager of this bank. What's your name, sir?
I'm Gulp Kanawut.
Oh, nice to meet you, sir. Anyway, sir, how may I help you?
Well, I am a businessman here and I want to secure my money, so I am planning to invest in your bank.
You made the right decision, sir, to come here in Suprasets International Bank.
Really?
Yes, sir, because our bank offers the most highest rate of investment not only here in the Philippines but also in other countries. Our bank offers 10% interest rate, and I guarantee to you that you are 101% safe and secured here in our bank.
Sounds interesting.
Well, sir, I have two options for you here. The first one is the simple interest.
Can you tell me more about simple interest?
Simple interest. Simple interest is a quick and easy method of calculating the interest charge on a loan. Simple interest is determined by multiplying the daily interest rate by principal and by the number of days for the elapsed between payments. For example, sir, you invest 500,000 pesos here for 5 years. Your investment will gain 50,000 pesos yearly, so in 5 years, your 500,000 pesos will gain 250,000 pesos total interest.
Wow, such a huge money. What if I invest 100,000 pesos for 10 years?
When you invest 100,000 pesos here, sir, you will gain 10,000 pesos yearly. So in 10 years, the total interest you've earned is 100,000 pesos. So what can you say about this, Mr. Kanawat?
That's good. Imagine my 100,000 pesos will earn 100,000 pesos in just 10 years. Wow, I'm so impressed. So, what if I invest lower than 100,000 pesos, like 50,000 pesos? How much interest I will earn?
Your investment will earn 5,000 pesos interest yearly. So in 5 years, the total interest that you will earn is 25,000 pesos.
Oh, that's nice. I'm convinced that your bank will offer a good service. Anyway, sir, you said earlier that I have two options here. What is the second option, sir?
The second option, Mr. Kanawat, is compound interest.
What about it, sir?
Compound interest. Compound interest is the addition of interest to the principal sum of a loan or deposit, or in other words, interest on interest. It is the result of reinvesting interest rather than paying it out, so that interest in the next period is the earned on the principal sum plus previously accumulated interest. Compound interest is standard in finance and economics.
What if I invest 500,000 pesos compounded annually for 5 years?
Well, sir, in year 1, your 500,000 pesos will earn 50,000 pesos. But in year 2, you will earn 55,000 pesos. And I know you are wondering why would it happen, but the explanation is just because the interest you've earned in every year will earn an interest too. So in 5 years, the total compounded interest that you will earn is 305,205 pesos.
Wow! How about I invest 100,000 pesos for 5 years compounded annually?
As you can see, Mr. Kanawut, in year 1, the interest you will gain is 10,000 pesos. And in 5 years, the total compounded interest that you will earn is 61,051 pesos.
How about I invest 1 million pesos compounded annually for 5 years?
Well, in this case, sir, you will earn much more because if the principal amount will increase, the interest of it will increase too. So, if you invest 1 million, in year 1 you will gain 100,000 pesos, And in 5 years, the total compounded interest that you will gain is 610,510 pesos. So, Mr. Kanawut, do you want to invest in our bank?
Yes, definitely. After you tell me and show me how much I will earn when I invest here, I'm convinced that I will invest my money here in Supasit's International Bank. And you know what, sir? I will tell all my friends to invest here.
Thank you, Mr. Kanawut, for trusting Supasit's International Bank, and I will assure you that you won't regret that you invest here. Because here in Supasit's International Bank, you are safe, sure, and secure. So again, I'm Ariel Rigor, and I'm always here to serve you.
Good morning, Ma'am and Sir. My name is Jan Excel Elvin Wia. So, para po maintindihan nyo, bibigyan ko po kayo ng example. First example po is, if you are starting your own small business here in Cabiao, you borrow 10,000 pesos from the bank at a 9% rate for 5 years. Find the interest you will pay on this loan. So the formula is I is equal P times R times T. So our I is missing. The principal amount is 10,000 pesos. Rate is equal to 9%. Time in years, 5 years. So I is equal to 10,000 pesos times 0.09, which is rate, times 5 years. I is equal 4,500. So sa loob po ng 5 taon, but ang interest rate po is 4,500. So sa compound interest naman po, same problem na lang po tayo. Bali, dadagdag lang po yung compounded monthly. So, A is equal P times 1 plus R over N raised to N times T. A is equal 10,000 pesos times 1 plus 0.09 over 12 raised to 12 times 5. A is equals 10,000 pesos multiplied by 1.0075 raised to 60. So A is equal to 15,656 pesos 0.81. So our next example, simple interest. So again, if you take out for loan 5,000 pesos to be repaid over 5 years, the bank charges you a simple interest rate of 2.8%. So using the formula, I is equal P times R times T. So I is missing. Principal amount is equals to 5,000 pesos. Rate is equal to 2.8%. Time in years is equal to 5 years. So I is equal 5,000 pesos multiply by 0.028 multiply by 5. So I is equal to 700 pesos. So for compound interest, same value po yung gagamitin natin. Mag-a-add na lang po tayo ng compounded yearly. Compounded yearly, which is 1. A are missing. P is equal 5,000 pesos. R is equal 2.08%. Time in years is equal to 5 years. So again, our compounded yearly is 1. So A is equal 5,000 pesos. The quantity of 1 plus 0.028 raised to 1.6. 1 times 6, A is equal 5,000 pesos multiplied by 1.028 raised to 6. So A is equal 5,901.04. Yun po yung difference ng simple interest sa compound interest. So, sa next problem po natin, sa pagde-deposit naman po. So, if you deposit 10,000 pesos into a savings account that accrues 3.7% simple interest in 4 years. So again, our formula is I is equal P times R times T. I is missing. P is equal 10,000 pesos. R is equal to 3.7% or 0.037. Time in years is equal to 4 years. I is equal 10,000 pesos multiplied by 0.037 times 4. So, I is equal to 1,480. So, sa compound interest naman po, same value and plus compounded monthly na lang po. So, A is equal P times 1 plus R over N raised to N times T. A is missing. P is equal 10,000 pesos. R is equal 3.7%. T is equal 4 years. So our compounded monthly is equal to 12. So A is equal 10,000 pesos times 1 plus 0.037 over 12 raised to 4 times 12. A is equal 10,000 pesos times 1.00308 raised to 48. So the total of A is equal 11,592.48. That's all. I hope you invest in our bank. Thank you.
Good day and welcome to Happy's Bank. My name is Leila Leiva and I am the manager in here. First of all, I want to thank you for attending in this meeting. And one thing that I like to share with you is that I help people to do better in their finance. First of all, let me talk about what choices do we offer. First is the simple interest. It's a quick and easy method of calculating the interest charged on a loan. It is determined by multiplying the daily interest rate by the principal by the number of days that elapse between payments, and it is based on the principal amount of a loan or a deposit. Yes, Ms. Manoban, here is the example. Suppose that you will invest 100,000 pesos in 5 years in an interest rate of 10%. As you can see in this table, your 100,000 pesos will earn 10,000 pesos every year and will increase to 150,000 pesos in 5 years. Another example, if I want to invest 1 million pesos in 10 years at an interest rate of 10%. It will increase to 1,600,000 pesos after 10 years. Every year, it will earn 100,000 pesos. Here it goes. 50,000 pesos will increase to 80,000 pesos after 10 years. After 10 years, your investment money will earn a total interest of 30,000 pesos. The second choice is compound interest. It is based on the principal amount and the interest that accumulates in it every period. Basically, borrowers must pay interest on interest as well as principal. As shown in this paragraph, your investment money 10,000 pesos will increase to 14,641 pesos after 4 years in an interest rate of 10%. If you will invest 25,000 pesos in 5 years in an interest rate of 5%, it will increase to 31,907.04 pesos. For my last example, if I want to invest an amount of 40,000 pesos in 3 years at rate of 5%, it will increase to 46,305 pesos. To sum all up, simple interest is calculated by looking at the principal amount borrowed, the rate of interest, and the time period it will cover. It is more advantageous for borrowers as it keeps overall interest payments lower, while compound interest makes the money grow at a faster rate. It is because, in addition to earning returns on the money you invest, you also earn returns on those returns at the end of the compounding period, which could be daily, monthly, quarterly, or annually. That's why compound interest causes your wealth grow faster. It's also why you don't have to put away as much money to reach your goals. That's all, and thank you. Now, what do you think about joining our company? The choice is yours. It's settled then. Thank you very much, everyone.
So good day everyone, I'm Miss Pettis from an International Bank, where your money are secured and safe. So what is LA Bank account? We are the best bank internationally and we are the best bank to invest your money. In our company, we have a lot to offer with you: service quality, value our investors, insurance, and secure your money, of course. So I give you some example. So example number 1. So let's say that Mr. Galang invests $500,000 in our bank. So with a simple interest rate 10% yearly for 2 years, her money will become 550,000 in 2 years. Her interest rate is 50,000 in 2 years only. That's a big interest. So another example. So if Mr. Chan invests $500,000 pesos with an interest rate of 10%, same with Mr. Galang, but it's compounded yearly for 2 years. So her money will become 605,000. So an example, let's say Mr. Shah invests 1,000,000 won with a simple interest rate 13% yearly for 3 years. So her money will become 1,390,000 won in just 3 years. So an example, let's say Mr. Shah invests 1,000,000 won with a simple interest rate 13% yearly for 3 years. So her money will become 1,390,000 100,000 won in just 3 years. So let's say that Mr. Maclean invests in our company and his daughter too, separately. So Mr. Marley invests $100,000 in our bank with a simple interest rate 15% for 5 years, and his daughter invests $100,000 too with a compounded yearly with our interest rate 15% for 5 years. So Mr. Maclean money investment $100,000 will become $175,000 in just 5 years. So his money interest is $75,000 in just 5 years. It's a big interest after all. So his daughter invest $100,000 to compounded yearly with interest of $15,000. So her daughter's money investment $100,000 will become $201,135.75 is big interest after all. You just sit and invest with the money, and we will do our the best we can do just to offer you a good service quality, ensure your money and save your money, and help you to grow your money. And International Bank has a lot to offer with you: service quality, value of investors, insurance, and ensure your money saved. So our mission is to offer investors all over the world with the best service of our company. We are committed to providing the service quality and value our investors more. Just invest to our bank, and we will do the rest with our staff, and we will give you the best services. So if you have questions, just tell me, and I will willingly to answer you. Again, I'm Paris Leilaan from International Bank. I will always serve you in the best that we can do. Thank you. Knowing in simple interest and compound interest is very useful, especially in our daily lives. We use money every day. So the best example for this is investing. So in investing, you have to know what will be happening to your money. So in using simple interest, compound interest, you will know if your money will.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jasmine Diaz, manager of one of the prestigious banks in the Philippines. I'm here to invite you and convince you to invest in our bank. I will explain to you how useful the simple interest and compound interest is. First, we have simple interest. Simple interest is a quick and easy method of calculating the interest charged on a loan. We have example here. If we assume that if you have a car loan in a bank for 100,000 at an interest rate of 10% in 5 years, to find the simple interest, we simply multiply 100,000 times 0.10 times 5 is equals to 50,000. This is now the simple interest. In overall, you have to pay 150,000 in a bank at the end of 5 years. Second example is, if you invested 30,000 in a bank at an interest rate of 5% per year, how much interest will you earn at the end of 3 years? We multiply 30,000 times 0.05 times 3 is equals to 4,500. This is now the interest rate you will earn at the end of 3 years. Third, if your deposit is 10,000 at our bank at an interest rate of 3% per year, how much interest you will earn at the end of 5 years? We have 10,000 times 0.03 times 5 is equals to 1,500. This is the interest rate you will earn at the end of 5 years. In overall, interest is more advantageous for borrowers. It keeps overall interest payments lower. Now, we have compound interest. Compound interest is addition of interest to principal sum of a loan or deposit, or in other words, interest on interest. But before we move on to the example, the formula for compound interest is A is equals to P times the quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to NT. For A is the total amount, P is the principal amount, R is interest rate, N is number of compounding periods, like for example, compounded yearly, compounded monthly. T is equals to time in years. So here is the example. If you are invested 10,000 in our bank at 5% for 2 years, compounded monthly. So the formula is A is equals to P times the quantity of 1 plus R over N times raised to NT. So we substitute 10,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.05 divide 12 raised to 12 times 2. So if we calculate this, 10,000 times 1.00416 something. If we divide 0.05 divide 12 plus 1, then raised to 24. And the answer is 11,049 pesos. Second example is, let's say you are open account with 50,000 at 3% for 5 years compounded yearly. So we have also A is equals to P times the quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to NT. We substitute 50,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.03 divide 1 raised to 1 times 5. Then, if we calculate that, 0.03 divide 1 plus 1 raised to 5 is equals to 1.15927 something. Then times 50,000 is equals to A is equals to 50,000, 57,963. And the third example is, let's assume you are invested 5,000 at 5% interest compounded yearly for 6 years. So we have also again A is equals to P times the quantity of 1 R over N raised to NT. We substitute 5,000 is the quantity of 1 plus 0.05 over 1 raised to 6. Then if we calculate that, 0.05 divide 1 plus 1 and raised to 6 is equals to 1.34009 something. Then we multiply 5,000, then the answer is A is equals to 6,700. So, many of the bank now uses compound interest. The difference between simple interest and compound interest is, simple interest grows slowly. Compounding speeds up the process. So, thank you, and I hope you invest in a bank now. God bless.
Good day and welcome. My name is Mark Kenneth Ibanal and I am the Investor Relations Manager for Banco de Oro. This morning, I will explain the usefulness of simple interest and compound interest in investing your money. We should have time for your questions at the end before we finish up. Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to review some safety informations. There is an exit directly behind you and a second one to my right at the front. If the alert fire alarm tone sounds, we will stop the presentation, prepare to evacuate, and wait for instructions. If the evacuation tone sounds, we are to follow the fire warden's instructions and leave the building via the stairwells, which are located out the rear door. Turn to your right, turn left, just past the elevators, and the stairs are straight ahead. Washrooms are located at the end of the hall. As you exit to the right of the back of the room, I would also ask everyone, please turn off your cell phones at this time. I am pleased to share our 2020 financial and operating results and discuss the promising future for Banco de Oro, a future that will continue to deliver superior value to shareholders over the longer term. We provide a unique opportunity for investors, a company with 52 years of operating experience, with assets only in the Philippines, embarking on a period of exceptional growth. Our competitive advantages are grounded in our commitment to operating integrity, risk management, and financial discipline. Let's start. Simple interest works in your favor when you are a borrower because it keeps the overall amount that you pay lower than it would be with compound interest. Here are some of our investment results this 2020 with simple interest investments. First, Miss Aquino is investing 40,000 pesos for 2 years. Our interest rate is 5.5%. The formula we will use is for the simple interest, that is A is equal to P multiplied by the quantity 1 plus R times T. It is equal to 40,000 multiplied by the quantity 1 plus 0.055 times 2. Now it is equal to 40,000 multiplied by the quantity 1.11. A now is equal to 44,400. The 40,000 pesos Miss Aquino invested became 44,400 after 2 years. And next, Miss Castro is investing 75,000 pesos for 5 years with an interest rate of 8%. Again, to compute it, we have the formula A is equal to P multiplied by the quantity 1 plus R multiplied by T. Now it is equal to 75,000 multiplied by the quantity of 1 plus 0.08 multiplied by 5. And it is equal to 75,000 multiplied by 1.4. And now, A is equal to 105,000 pesos. The 75,000 pesos Ms. Castro invested became 105,000 pesos at the end of 5 years. And now, if you invest 100,000 pesos in our bank for a year with an interest rate of 10.5%, how much simple interest will you earn? And we will compute it also with the formula A is equal to P multiplied by 1 plus R multiplied by T. Now it is equal to 100,000 multiplied by the quantity 1 plus 0.105 multiplied by 1 is equal to 100,000 multiplied by the quantity 1.105. A now is equal to 110,500 pesos. The 100,000 you invested will have a 10,500 simple interest at the end of the year. Compound interest. Compound interest make a sum of money grow at a faster rate than the simple interest. Because in addition to earning returns on the money you invest, you also earn returns on those returns at the end of every compounding period, which could be daily, monthly, quarterly, or annually. Some of our investment results this 2020 with compound interest investments. First, Ms. De Guzman deposit 5,000 pesos into an account paying 4% annual interest compounded monthly. How much will be in the account after 7 years? We have now this formula for compound interest. A is equal to P multiplied by the quantity 1 plus R over N raised to NT. It is equal to 5,000 pesos multiplied by 1 plus 0.04 over 12 raised to 12 multiplied by 7. And now it is equal to 5,000 multiplied by 1.322513864. And now we have the compound interest of 6,612.57 pesos. After 7 years, there will be 6,612.57 pesos in the account. Next is Miss Pontanilla. She deposits 45,000 pesos into an account paying 9% annual interest compounded semi-annually. How much money will be in the account after 6 years? We will also use the compound interest formula, which is A is equal to P multiplied by the quantity 1 plus R over N raised to NT. Now we have 45,000 pesos multiplied by 1 plus 0.09 over 12 raised to 2 times 6. And now we will have 45,000 pesos is multiplied by the quantity 1.695881433. And now the compound interest is 76,312.66 pesos. After 6 years, there will be 76,314.66 pesos in Mrs. Fontanilla's account. And lastly, if you deposit 60,000 pesos into an account paying 6% annual interest compounded quarterly, how much money will be in the account after 5 years? We will also use the same formula to compute. A is equal to P multiply the quantity 1 plus R over N raised to NT is equal to 60,000 multiplied by 1 plus 0.06 over 4 raised to 4 times 5. And now we will have 60,000 pesos multiplied by 1.346855007. And it is equal to 80,811.30 pesos. After 5 years, there will be 80,811.30 pesos in the account. The interest, typically expressed as percentage, can be either simple or compounded. Simple interest is based on the principal amount of a loan or deposit. In contrast, compound interest is based on the principal amount and the interest that accumulates on it in every period. For the past years, we have worked to ensure that we are in compliance with the needs of our investors. We are suggesting that the greater you invest, the greater interest you will get. We pride ourselves on delivering attractive returns for shareholders, career success for our employees, financial success for our customers, and for prosperity for our communities. So, if you are planning to invest your money, invest here at Banco de Oro. Thank you for the opportunity to share this to you. I would be happy to answer any questions now. Thank you and God bless.
Good day, ma'am, sir. Welcome to Jay's Bank. What are you looking for, ma'am and sir? Are you looking for the banks to have a good assistance with their investors? Or are you looking for the banks that you can invest your money? So you entered in the right bank. By the way, ma'am and sir, I am BJ Benedicto, the manager of this bank. I want you to know that this bank gives compound interest. If you don't have an idea about compound interest, it is interest that is paid not only the principal of a loan or deposit, but also on the accumulated interest from previous period of loan or interest. Compound interest basically taught interest to interest. Ma'am, if you go to other banks, they only give simple interest. Simple interest, it is a interest that is paid only on a principal of a loan and not any interest from previous period of the loan or deposits. Ma'am, if you want to really understand what is the difference between compound and simple interest, we may go to my office and I'll show you some example and how it works. So here is our first example. Ma'am, what is your name? Miss Joaquin, and you, sir? Mr. Benedicto. So let's say that Mr. Benedicto and Miss Joaquin was investing their 50,000 pesos in different banks. Miss Joaquin invests her money in Jay's Bank, who gave compound interest, and Mr. Benedicto invests his money to the other bank, who gives simple interest. In the first year, both of you get 2,500 as the 5% interest of your 50,000. In the second year, Mr. Benedicto get 2,500 and Miss Joaquin earned 2,625 because her principal and the interest that earned in the first year is computed by 5%. And the third year, Mr. Benedicto is still earned 2,500 because bank that he deposit his money is giving simple interest, while Miss Joaquin earned 2,756.25 because the interest in first and second year was added to principal and multiplied it in the given rate, which is 5%. So, compound interest is more applicable. Then let's watch this presentation. To make it clear, I'll show you another example of simple interest and compound interest and how to solve it. First is the simple interest. You invest 5,000 pesos in a bank for 2 years at a 3% interest rate. What is the interest you have earned after this year? In simple interest, we have the formula of I is equal to PRT, wherein I is the interest, P is the principal, R is the interest rate, and T is the time. And we need to identify the given. I is the missing, P is 5,000, R is 3%. Always remember that here in simple interest, we need to convert the percentage into decimal. So, 3% will become 0.03 and T is 2 years. And it will become I is equal to 5,000 times 0.03 times 2. Therefore, the interest that you will earn is 300 pesos. Another example. Mr. Castro has 30,000 pesos to invest. He wants to earn 5,000 in interest. He is considering a savings and loans bank that is offering him 5.6% interest per year. For how long will he have to leave his money in the bank in order to reach his goal of 5,000 pesos? The formula that we will use is T is equal to I over PR, where I is 5,000, P is 30,000, R is 5.6 or 0.056. Therefore, it will become T is equal to 5,000 over 30,000 times 0.056. So the year is 3 years. Next is compound interest. Let's say that you invest 8,000 in your savings account with an annual interest rate of 8% compounded annually. What will account balance be after 5 years? Here in compound interest, we have the formula of A is equal to P quantity of 1 plus R over N quantity raised to N times T, wherein A is the amount balance, P is the principal, R is the interest rate, N is the number of times a year the interest is compounded, and T is the time. Then we need to determine the given. A is missing, P is 8,000, R is 8%, and it will become 0.08. Time is 5 and N is 1. And it will become A is equal to 8,000, quantity of 1 plus 0.08 over 1. Quantity raised to the 1 times 5. And the amount balance is 11,754.62. So here's the last example of compound interest. Mr. Zinyoka invests a sum of money savings account with a fixed annual interest rate of 6.5%, compounded semi-annual. After 8 years, the balance reaches 33,363 pesos. What was the amount of initial investment? In this problem, we will use the formula of P is equal to A over quantity of 1 plus R over N quantity raised to N times T. First, we need to identify the given. A is 33,363. P is the missing. R is 6.65. It will become 0.065. T is 8 years and N is 2 because it's semi-annually. And it will become P is equal to 33,363 over 1 plus 0.065 over 2 raised to 16. Then the initial investment is 19,999.73. Those are example of compound and simple interest. So ma'am and sir, what are you waiting for? Invest your money in Jay's Bank, who give compound interest.
Try to invest in our bank. Here in BFI Bank, you can be sure your money is safe. And we also have another service you can invest in BFI and make your money grow in time. You can have a great interest in our money once you decide to withdraw your money. Here are samples on how money will have its interest. Simple interest is a quick and easy method of calculating the interest charge on a loan. Simple interest is determined by multiplying the daily interest rate by the principal by the number of days and elapsed between payments. While the compound interest is additional of interest to the principal sum of loan or deposit, or in other words, interest on the interest, it is a result of reinvesting interest rather than paying it out. So the interest in the next period is then earned on the principal sum plus previously accumulated interest. Here are the examples of simple interest. Ryan borrowed $15,000 from a bank to buy a car at the 10% simple interest. If he paid $9,000 as interest while clearing the loan, find the time for which the loan was given. Solution. Principal equals $15,000. Rate of interest equals 10% or 0.10, and the interest paid equals $9,000, and the T is to be found. T equals I divide PR equals 9,000 divide 15,000 times 0.10 equals 6 years. Second example of simple interest are Steve invests $10,000 in a saving banks account that earned 2% simple interest. Find the interest earned if the amount was kept in the bank for 4 years. Solution. Principal equals $10,000, time period 4 years, and rate of interest equals 2% or 0.02. Flagging these values in the simple interest formula, I equals EXT times R equals 10,000 times 4 times 0.02 equals $800. Interest earned from the investment equals $800. The last example of simple interest are a year takes a loan of $8,000 to buy a used truck at the rate of 9%. Simple interest calculated the annual interest to be paid for the loan amount. Solution. From the details given in the problem, principal equals $8,000 and the rate equals 9% or 0.09 expressed as a decimal. As the annual interest is to be calculated, the time period time equals 1. Flagging these values in the simple interest formula, interest equals principal times time times rate equals 8,000 times 1 times 0.09 equals 720. Annual interest to be paid is $720. Example of compound interest. If an amount of $5,000 is deposited into a saving account at an annual interest rate of 5% compounded monthly, the value of investment after 10 years can be calculated as follows. P equals 5,000, R equals 5 over 100 or 0.05, N equals 12, time is equals 10. If we plug those figures into a formula, we get the following. A equals 5,000 times 1 plus 0.05 divide 12 times 12 times 10 equals 8,235.05. So the investment balance of 10 years is $8,235.05. Here are the second example of compound interest. Assume you invest $10,000 in a saving account that makes 2.5% or 0.025 interest compounded quarterly equals 4. Next, assume you plan on keeping the money in the account for 30 years. Given P equals $10,000, rate equals 0.25, N equals 4, and the time is equals 30. Solution equals $10,000 times 1 plus 0.25 over 4 times 4 plus 30 equals $10,000 times 1.00625 times 120 equals $10,000 times 2.1 12065 equals 21,120.65 dollars. Here are the last example of compound interest. Anthony puts $10,000 into a saving account that pay interest every month at the rate of 1.8% per year. How much money does Anthony have after 1 month? If he leaves his original investment at the first month of interest in the account, how much will he have after a second month? The formula is I equals PRT. P equals 10,000, R equals 0.018 over 18 equals 0.0015 times 1. I equals 10,000 times 0.0015 times 1. I equals 15 plus 10,000 equals 10,000 $15. P equals 10,000.
A pleasant day, madam. Before we start, I would like to thank for giving me time to talk about investment. So today, we'll talk about simple interest and compound interest. But first, let us talk about simple interest. Simple interest. It is a quick and easy method of calculating the interest charged on a loan. So simple interest is determined by multiplying the daily interest rate by the number of days that elapse between payments. So, here are the examples for you to have a better understanding about simple interest. Let us have a problem number 1. My friend Elaine wants to invest 4,000 pesos at 2.5% interest for 3 years. The question is, how much interest does she earn during this time? To solve this, we have to find all the given variables. So we have the principal amount of 4,000 pesos, rate of 2.5% or 0.025, because when we convert 2.5% into decimal, it becomes 0.025. Then the time is 3 years. So what we are finding is the interest. So to solve interest, we have to use the formula, which is I is equal to PRT or principal, rate, and time. So substituting all the given variables, I is equal to 4,000 times the quantity of 0.025 times the quantity of 3. Then when we multiply it, it becomes 300. So therefore, the interest is 300 pesos. If you have, ma'am, a question, just feel free to ask.
Okay, what if I want to invest 4,000 pesos yield an interest of 600 pesos in 3 years? So, what will be the rate?
Thank you, ma'am, for that question. You are asking if you are going to invest 4,000 yield an interest of 600 pesos in 3 years. Then, what will be the rate? So, to solve this, we have to use this formula, which is R is equal to I over P times T. So, when we substitute the given variables, which is 600, the interest, divided by the principal, which is 4,000, times the time, which is 3. So, 600 divided by 4,000 times 3 is equal to 600 divided by 12,000. Then, it becomes 0.05. So, that means the rate will be 5% because when we convert 0.05 in percent, it becomes 5%. We are done in simple interest. Now, let's move on with compound interest. Compound interest is the addition of interest to the principal sum of a loan or deposit, or in other words, interest on interest. So, in compound interest, it is the result of reinvesting interest rather than paying it out, so that interest in the next period is earned on the principal sum plus previously accumulated interest. let's say you want to invest 10,000 pesos in savings account with a fixed annual interest rate of 6% compounded quarterly. So, what will the account balance be after 5 years? So, again, we have to find the given variables. So, we have the principal amount of 10,000 pesos, rate of 6%, the time is 5 years, and n is equal to 4. So, to solve this, we have to use the formula, which is A is equal to P times 1 plus R divided by N raised to N times T. So, substituting all the given variables, then A is equal to 10,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.06 over 4, then raised to 4 times 5. So, it becomes 10,000 times the quantity of 1.015 raised to 20. So, it becomes 13,468.15. So, therefore, the compound interest is 13,468.15 pesos.
Can I ask?
Yes, ma'am?
So, what if I'm going to invest a sum of money with a fixed annual interest rate of 10% compounded half yearly? Then, after 6 years, I want my balance be 12,000 pesos. So, how much should be my initial investment?
Thank you for that interesting question, ma'am. You are asking that if you are going to invest a sum of money with a fixed annual interest rate of 10% compounded half yearly, then after 6 years, you want your balance be 12,000 pesos. Then, how much should be your initial investment? 12,000 is equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus 0.1 over 2 raised to 2 times 6. So, 12,000 is equal to P times the quantity of 1.05 raised to 12. So, to cancel 1.1025, we have to divide both sides 1.1025. So, it becomes 12,000 over 1.1025 is equal to P. Then, when we divide it, it becomes 10,884.35. So therefore, the principal or the initial investment will be 10,884.35 pesos. That's all, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good day everyone, my name is Isan Dalmasio and I'm here to present our very own bank, the Dawn Bank. The first appearance of light in the sky before sunrise, into the dawn. The Dawn Bank brings a new age of investing. With higher rates, you can safely make more money by simply investing. Simple interest is a quick and easy method of calculating the interest charged on a loan. Simple interest is determined by multiplying the daily interest rate by the principal by the number of days that elapse between payments. In compound interest, it is the addition of interest to the principal sum of a loan or deposit, or in other words, interest on interest. It is the result of reinvesting interest rather than paying it out, so that interest in the next period is then earned on the principal sum plus previously accumulated interest. Here is our sample rates. Investing 10K in 5 years. With our rates of 5% a year, in just 5 years, your measly 10K pesos will be 12,500. In following this simple formula of simple interest. A is equal to P times the quantity 1 plus R times T A is equal to 10K times the quantity 1 plus 0.05 times 5 years. 10K times the quantity 1.25, it will then be 12,500 in simple interest. Let's say invested 50K in our bank that is compounded continuously in 3 years. With this following formula of compounded interest, A is equal to T times E raised to R and T. A is equal to 50K times E raised to 0.05 times 3. Your money will then be A is equal to 58,091.71 pesos. So in just 3 years, your money had increased 8K in compound interest. We'll be using the same formula of simple interest. A is equal to 20K times the quantity 1 plus 0.05 times 3. A is equal to 20K times the quantity 1.15. A is equal to 23,000 in simple interest. In compound interest, let's say you invested 35K in our bank that is compounded annually in 5 years. The formula changes in this. A is equal to T times the quantity 1 plus R over N raised to N times T. A is equal to 35,000 times the quantity 1 plus 0.05 over 1 raised to 1 times 5. Your money will be 44,669.85. So, in just 5 years, your money had increased 9,000. Investing 30,000 in 7 years. With our rates of 5% a year, in just 7 years, your 30,000 will be 40,500. With the same formula as usual, A is equal to 30,000 times the quantity 1 plus 0.05 times 7. A is equal to 30,000 times the quantity 1.35. Your money will be 40,500 in simple interest. Let's say you invested 45,000 in our bank that is compounded semi-annually in 6 years. A is equal to 45,000 times the quantity 1 plus 0.05 over 1 raised to 1 times 6. Your money will be 60,520. So, in just 6 years, your money had increased 15,520. That's it for my presentation. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.
Good day everyone, I am your manager, Arjel Reyes Caballero of Blue Arc Bank of the Philippines. I am here in front of you to present how our bank uses simple and compound interest in our transaction or investment. And I will make sure that you're gonna invest to our bank after listening to me. We have here 3 scenarios or examples that we will use to elaborate how we use simple and compound interest. Miss Judela de la Rosa wants to invest her 20,000 pesos in Blue Arc Bank of the Philippines for 3 years. How much she can have if the interest rate is at 6%. We have the formula I is equal to PRT. We substitute all the given information. I is equal to 20,000 times 0.06 times 3. We got the answer of 3,600. Then Miss Kando has 3,600 pesos of interest after investing 20,000 pesos in 3 years at 6% interest rate. Miss Julieta Rivera is planning to invest her 1 month salary to Blue Arc Bank of the Philippines in an interest rate of 4% in 2 years. How much she can get if the money she will invest is worth 28,000 pesos. We have the formula of I is equal to PRT. We substitute all the given information. I is equal to 28,000 times 0.04 times 3. We got the answer of 3,360. Then Miss Rivera can have 3,360 pesos of interest after investing 28,000 pesos in 2 years at 4% interest rate. Miss Adriana Fernandeza has 24,000 pesos after selling her old luxury bag. She wants to invest it in Blue Art Bank of the Philippines in a year for 7% interest rate. How much she can get after investing? We have the formula. I is equal to PRT. We substitute all the given information. I is equal to 24,000 times 0.07 times 1. And we got 1,680. Miss Fernandeza's interest after investing her 24,000 pesos in a year at 7% interest rate is 1,680 pesos. Mrs. Maria Elvira wants to buy a farm for her future retirement, but her money is only 40,000 pesos and the price of the farm is worth 70,000 pesos. She decided to invest her money to Blue Art Bank of the Philippines for 6 years at 10% interest rate compounded annually. We have the formula of A equals P times the quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to NT. We substitute all the given information. A is equal to 40,000 times 1 plus 0.10 over 1 raised to 1 times 6, and A is 40,000 times 1.771561. Then we got the A of 70,862.44 pesos. Then Mrs. Alvira can buy the farm for her future retirement after investing 40,000 pesos in 6 years at 10% interest rate. Mrs. Jane Cavina wants to invest her 10,000 pesos in Blue Art Bank of the Philippines for the enrollment of her daughter in college after 3 years. If the interest rate is 8% and the year of investment is 3 years, compounded monthly, how much she can get? We substitute all the given information. A is equal to 10,000 times the quantity 1 plus 0.08 over 12 raised to 12 times 3. A is equal to 10,000 times 1.27023705160. Then we got 12,702.37 pesos. Mrs. Kevina can get 12,702.37 pesos for the enrollment of her daughter. Chloe Musngi, a 20-year-old girl, wants to invest her money she got from her mother, Emily Musngi, and it is worth 16,000 pesos. How much she can get if the interest rate is 10% for 4 years, compounded annually? We substitute all the given information to the formula. We have A is equal to 16,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.10 over 1 raised to 1 times 4. We got 23,425.6. Then the money that Chloe can get is 23,425.6 pesos after 4 years of investment. That's all, everyone. Thank you for listening. I hope that you will invest to the #1 bank in the country, the Blue Art Bank of the Philippines. I am your bank manager, Arjunel Reyes Caballero. Have a good day, everyone. Mabuhay!
Good day, everyone. My name is Angeline Gatus, your manager. Let me discuss the useful of simple interest and compound interest by presenting an example. But first, let me define simple interest and compound interest in order for us to understand carefully the meaning and useful of it. Let me share my screen.
What is simple interest? Simple interest is determined by multiplying the daily interest rate by the principal by the number of days that elapse between payment. So, in simple interest, there is formula to compute the simple interest. So, I represent the simple interest, P represent as principal, R is equal to rate, and T is equal to time. So, how to compute simple interest? So, here's the formula. I is equal to PRT, or simple interest is equal to principal multiplied by R and T. Next, what is compound interest? Compound interest, the interest on loan or deposit calculated based on both the initial principal and the accumulated interest from previous period. Let me show examples of simple interest and compound interest. Find the simple interest of 1,800 at 3% per annum for 1 year. So using the formula, we will get the 90 pesos as simple interest, and the amount he or she will get after 1 year is 1,890. Next is P is equal to 1,600, rate is equal to 4%, and time is 1 year. So same formula, we will get 80 and 1,680. Next, Sammy invests a sum of money in saving account with fixed annual interest rate of 4%, compounded 12 times per year. After 5 years, the balance reaches 12,855.94. So after 5 years, the balance is 12,855.94. We need to get the principal. We will get 8,361, and to get compound interest, kindly subtract P from A, and we will get 4,494.94.
Based on my examples, we can say that simple and compound interest are very useful. But simple interest is more advantageous or useful than compound, as it keeps overall interest payment lower.
Good day to all investors out there. It's me, Ariel G. Policarpio, the manager of one of the most popular bank here in the Philippines. It is the Policarpio's Bank Incorporation. If you invest here, your savings is always safe. So, for you to believe, I will give you an example like what is really happening in our bank and how simple interest and compound interest works. Let us have this example number 1. Mrs. Kalay invests 100,000 in her saving account at the rate of 10% per annum compounded annually. What will be the account balance of her after 5 years? So, for simple interest, there is a given formula. I is equal to PRT, where I stands for simple interest, P is for principal, R is for rate, and rate must be in the decimal point, T is for the time in years. So, by doing substitution, I is now equal to 100,000 times 0.10 times 5. I is now equal to 50,000 pesos. In the compound interest, there is also given formula. A is equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to NT. So, by doing substitution, A is now equal to 100,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.10 over 1 raised to 1 times 5. So, to simplify it further, A is now equal to 161,051 pesos. Let's proceed to the example number 2. Mr. Cao invests 50,000 pesos in his saving account at the rate of 5% per annum compounded semi-annually. Solve for simple and compound interest if the T is 3 years. So, simple interest, I is equal to PRT, where I stand for simple interest, P is for principal, R is for rate, and the rate must be in the decimal point, T is for the time in years. So by doing substitution, I is now equal to 50,000 times 0.05 times 3. To simplify it further, I is now equal 7,500 pesos. In the compound interest, there is also given formula. A is equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus Rn raised to Nt, where I stand for future amount, P is for principal, R is for rate, N is for the number that compounding period, and T is for the time in years. So by doing substitution, A is now equal 50,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.05 over 2 raised to 2 times 3. So to simplify it further, A is now equal 57,984 pesos and 67 centavos. Let us now talk about this final example. Miss Mactal invests 30,000 pesos in her saving account compounded monthly with a rate of 2% per annum for 5 years. So in the simple interest, there is also given formula. I is equal to PRT, where I stand for interest, P is for principal, R is for rate, and rate must be in the decimal point, and T is for the time in years. So by doing substitution, I equals to 30,000 times 0.02 times 5. So to simplify it further, I is now equal 3,000 pesos. In the compound interest, there is also given formula. A is equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to Nt. So by doing substitution, A is now equal 30,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.02 over 12 raised to 12 times 5. To simplify it further, A is now equal 33,152 pesos 0.37 centavos. Once again, I'm Ariel G. Policarpio of Policarpio's Bank Incorporation. Thank you.
Good day, Ma'am, Sir. I am Princess T. Contreras, a branch manager of World's Finance Corporation. I am here to let you know more about of our bank, including those things that we offer to all of our clients, and to discuss how advantageous our bank is. Here in our bank, we have simple interest and compound interest. Interest typically good when you are borrowing money because you are paying interest on a smaller amount of money. That's why simple interest can be advantageous when you borrow money. Here in our bank, we are offering simple interest for loans. Well, to discuss how advantageous the compound interest is, I have here some examples. The first one is, let us find the amount and the compound interest on 4,700 pesos for 3 years at 11% per annum compounded annually. So here is the given formula in finding the compound interest. A is equal to T or principal times 1 plus R or rate over N raised to N times T or time. By substituting the given values, P is equal to 4,700, T is equal to 3, R is equal to 0.11, and N is equal to 1. 4,700 times 1 plus 0.11 over 1 raised to 1 times 3 will be 4,700 times 1.11 raised to 3. And 1.11 raised to 3 is equal to 1.367631. So 4,700 multiplied by 1.367631 is equal to 6,427.87 pesos. The compound interest here is 6,427.87 pesos. To find the amount, let's minus the compound interest to principal amount. 6,427 pesos minus 4,700, it would be 1,727 pesos. So the amount will be 1,727 pesos. As you can see, the interest is earned on the principal as well as the interest. Compound interest is better since it allows funds to grow at a faster rate than they would be in an account with a simple interest rate. And to make everything clear, I have here 5 more examples. Mr. Katakutan takes a loan of 20,000 pesos at a simple interest rate of 7% in 2 years. Here is the formula in finding the simple interest. I is equal to PRT. If we have 20,000 pesos as principal and 0.07 as annual interest rate in just 2 years, we have here 20,000 times 0.07 times 2 is equal to 2,800 pesos. In our example, you will see that Mr. Katakutan earned an interest of 2,800 in just 2 years. I have here another example of simple interest. Mrs. Reyes, our client last week, invested 100,000 pesos in her savings bank account with a simple interest rate of 5% in 3 years. With the use of our formula in simple interest, I is equal to PRT, we are going to multiply 100,000 pesos to 0.05 interest rate to 3 years. So we have 100,000 pesos times 0.05 times 3 is equal to 15,000 pesos. As you can see, Mrs. Reyes will earn 15,000 pesos after 3 years. And you know what, sir? The day before today, a woman bought 35,000 pesos from our bank to buy some furnitures for her house with an annual interest rate of 3% for 4 years. How much would she pay after 4 years? So 35,000 pesos times 0.03 annual interest rate times 4 years is equal to 4,200 pesos. She's just going to pay 4,200 pesos interest within 4 years. That was too advantageous than any other banks. I have here an example of compound interest. We have a client last month. He invested 13,800 pesos in his savings account with a fixed annual interest rate of 8% for 2 years compounded annually. Let's see how much interest will his bank account earn. Using the compound interest formula, A is equal to P times 1 plus R over N raised to NT. Substituting the given values, 13,800 times 1 plus 0.08 over 1 raised to 1 times 2. It would be 13,800 times 1.08 raised to 2 to 16,096.32. So after 2 years, his bank account will become 16,096.32 pesos. Let's find out how much he will earn. So 16,096.32 pesos minus principal, which is 13,800 pesos, is equal to 2,296.32. Bank account will earn 2,296.32 in 2 years. In my last example, Mr. Lee invests 9,523 pesos in a savings account with fixed annual interest rate of 5% compounded annually. What will the account balance be after 8 years? E is equal to 9,523 times 1 plus 0.05 over 1 raised to 1 times 8. So to 9,523 times 1.05 raised to 8 is equal to 1,069.81. Mr. Lee principal amount of 9,523 pesos will be 14,069.81 pesos after 8 years. That was such a great deal, isn't it? Our bank is willing to help you saving money for your future preference and making your future better and brighter. If you were going to invest and wanted to make some loans, don't hesitate to come with our bank. We are willing to help you and happy to serve you. That's all.
Thank you and God bless.
Good day, dear investors. I'm Angelica Rosete, and I am the manager of this bank. And I am here to prove to you that investing to our bank is a privilege to you, that being part of our growing business. Our bank is one of the famous banks to our country. So if you are interested to be with us, let me discuss how you will get or gain and be benefited. So let's start. There are two different ways on how to compute interest in our bank. First is simple interest. It is based on the principal amount of a loan or deposit, while compound interest is much bigger than simple interest because it is based and on the principal amount and the interest that accumulates on it in every period. So let's say for example, in the simple interest, Mr. Gonzalez invests 50,000 pesos in a saving account at the rate of 6%. What will the account balance after 10 years? So to solve the interest of Mr. Gonzalez when he invests 50,000, here is the formula. I is equal to P multiplied by R multiplied by T. So substitute the given problem and then multiply it. So the interest of Mr. Gonzalez that he gained is 30,000. So for compound interest, here is the example. Mr. Gonzalez invests 50,000 in a saving account with a fixed annual interest rate at 6% compounded 2 times per year. What will the account balance be after 10 years? So here's the formula. A is equal to P 1 plus R over N raised to NT. To substitute the given problem, A is equal to 50,000 1 plus 0.06 over 2 raised to 2 times 10. So A multiplied by 1.80611 and so on is equal to 90,305.56. To get the interest, subtract it by 50,000. So the interest of Mr. Gonzalez is 40,305.56. Here's the second example for simple interest. Miss Castro invests 20,000 in her friend at the rate of 8%. What will be the interest of her money after 2 years? So here's the formula. So to substitution the formula, 20,000 multiplied by 0.08 multiplied by 2. So the interest that Miss Castro will gain is 3,200. For compound interest, here's the example. Miss Castro invests 20,000 in her friend with a fixed annual interest rate at 8% compounded 3 times per year. What will be the interest after 2 years? So here's the formula. To substitution the formula, A is equal to 20,000, 1 plus 0.08 over 3 raised to 3 multiplied by 2. So A is equal to 20,000 multiplied by 1.217105 and so on. So A is equal to 23,421.07. To get the interest, subtract it by 20,000. Therefore, the interest that Miss Castro gained is 3,421.07. Here's the example number 3 for simple interest. Mr. Villanueva invests 100,000 in the bank at the rate of 5%. how much the interest he will get after 5 years. So here's the formula. To substitute the given problem, 100,000 multiplied by 0.05 multiplied by 5. So, Mr. Villanueva gained 25,000 interest when he is invest 100,000 in the bank. So, for compound interest, Mr. Villanueva invests 100,000 in the bank with a fixed annual interest rate at 5% compounded 2 times per year. How much the interest he will get after 5 years? So here's the formula. For substitution of the formula, A is equal to 100,000, 1 plus 0.05 over 2 raised to 2 multiplied by 5. So, A is equal to 100,000 multiplied by 1.28008 and so on. So, A is equal to 128,008.45. To get the interest, we need to subtract it by 100,000. So, therefore, the interest that Mr. Villanueva will gain is 28,008.45. You will see the difference between the two. So, based on my discussion, it's up to you on what will you want to use when we are computing your money that you are investing to us. It's either simple interest or a compound interest. So grab the opportunity that our bank was offered to you. Be with us and let our business grow together. Thank you.
Good day, ma'am. Good day, sir. My name is Rosefina Victoria from the Bank of the Philippines. If you are a businessman or a businesswoman who wants to secure of their money, you made the right decision to come in our bank. We offer a highest rate and I guarantee that your money is safe and secured in our bank. I have 2 options for you, ma'am and sir. The first is the simple interest. Simple interest is the interest calculated on the principal portion of a loan or original contribution to a savings account. The second one is the compound interest. Compound interest is the addition of interest to the principal sum of a loan or deposit. Or in other words, interest on interest. It is the result of reinvesting interest. I have example for you, ma'am and sir. For example number 1, if you invest a total amount of 50,000 pesos in our bank at 10% rate for 2 years, how much your interest from your investment? So, by calculating the simple interest, our I is equals to PRT. I is the simple interest we need to find. P is equals to 50,000. R is equals to 10%. Time is equals to 2 years. I is equals to 50,000 times 0.10 times 2. So, the simple interest of the investment is 10,000 pesos. For the compound interest, we have A is equals to P plus P times 1 plus R divided by N raised to NT. A is equals to 50,000 times 1 plus 0.10, which is the rate, divided by 12 raised to 12 times 2. So, A is equals to 50,000 times 1.0083 raised to 24. So, the compound interest of the investment is 60,971.15. Example number 2, If some resident of Cabiao borrow 10,000 pesos in our bank to start a small business with a 7% interest and repaid for 1 year, the interest of the money will become, again, I is equals to PRT. I is equals to 10,000 times 0.7 times 1. So the simple interest is 700 pesos. For the compound interest, A is equals to 10,000 times 1 plus 0.07 divided by 12 raised to 12 times 1. A is equals to 10,000 times 1.0058 raised to 12. A is equals to 10,718.63, and that is the compound interest of the money. For the last example, if the investors are invest a total of 100,000 pesos in our bank at 9% rate in 10 years, the money will become I is missing, P is equals to 100,000, R is equals to 9%, time is 10 years, so I is equals to 100,000 times 0.09 times 10, so the simple interest is equals to 90,000 pesos for 10 years. For the compound interest, A is equals to 100,000 times 1 plus 0.09 divided by 12 raised to 12 times 10. A is equals to 100,000 times 1.0075 raised to 120. So, the compound interest of the investment is 245,135.71 for 10 years. And that's all, ma'am and sir, and I hope that I convince you to invest in our bank. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Roxanne Maylim, and I am the manager of this bank. And if you are thinking to open a bank account, I will assure you that in this bank, your money is safe and secure. We offer simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest is amount of interest earned on original amount of money invested. Simple interest is paid out as it is earned and does not become part of an account's interest-bearing balance. The invested amount is called principal. Simple interest is interest that is calculated on the principal or original amount of a loan. Simple interest is usually applies in loans like car loans, student loans, and even mortgages. You might also see simple interest when taking out of consumer loans. Some larger stores will let you finance household appliances with simple interest for periods of up to 12 to 24 months payment. Simple interest also applies in investing. So let's say you have 100,000 pesos and you want to invest it for 4 years. Our bank offers 8% of interest rate. So your 100,000 pesos in 4 years will gain 32,000 pesos. To calculate and to know how it becomes 132,000 pesos, you will only multiply your principal amount, 100,000 pesos, to the interest rate, which is 8% or 0.08, and the time in years you will invest it, which is 4 years. So you will get 32,000 pesos in investing your money in our bank. So for the compound interest, our bank pay compounded interest on deposits, a benefit of depositors. If you are a credit card holder, knowledge of the workings of compound interest calculations may be incentive to you to pay off your balance quickly. Credit card companies charge interest on the principal amount of the accumulated interest. So for example, you will invest 3,500 for 2 years and it will be compounded quarterly. When we say compounded quarterly, it means it will multiply by 4 or okay. For example, the formula for this is A is equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus R over M multiplied by M times T. It is equal to 3,500 times 1 plus 0.015 over 4 multiplied by 4 times 2, which is 8. So for solution, the answer will be 3,606.39. So the value of your money in 2 years will be 3,606.39. So in order for you to much understand what I am talking about earlier, what is the difference of simple interest and the compound interest? Well, the simple interest is always the same amount since it is a percentage of the principal, while the compound interest amount will be different every accrual period since it is a percentage of the principal plus interest earned or accrued to date. The principal remains the same with simple interest. I hope that after watching this, you were enlightened and convinced to invest in our bank or to get loans, either. So I will see you soon to fill out our form to invest or get loans. See you and have a good day.
Good day, everyone. I am Kyla Reyes, the manager of the West End Bank, and I'm here to state the usefulness of simple interest and compound interest. So let's start. Interest is the cost of borrowing money where the borrower pays a fee to the lender for the loan. The interest can be either simple or compounded. Simple interest is based on the principal amount of a loan or deposit. In contrast, compound interest is based on the principal amount and the interest that accumulates on it in every period. Simple interest is calculated on the principal amount of a loan or deposit, so it is easier to determine than compound interest. Usually, simple interest is applied to automobile loans or short-term personal loans. Most mortgages do not use simple interest, although some banks use this method for mortgages for bi-weekly payment plans. The simple interest calculation provides a very basic way of looking at interest. It is an introduction to the concept of interest in general. In the real world, your interest, whether you're paying it or earning it, is usually calculated using more complex methods. There may also be other costs factored into a loan than just interest. However, understanding simple interest is a good start, and it can provide you a broad idea of what a loan will cost or what an investment will return. Understanding simple interest is a necessary stepping stone in managing your finances. It is not the final step, but leads to more complex financial concepts. More complex interest calculations involve something called compounding frequencies, which is how often the interest is compounded. It can be daily, monthly, yearly, or some other frequency. And that is what we call the compound interest. So aside from simple interest, compound interest is one of the two ways to calculate interest. In simple interest, it calculates interest on the initial principal only, while on compounded interest, it lets you enjoy the higher returns by paying you interest on the principal amount plus the interest you previously earned. Compound interest opens doors to sources of profits for a company. So it is a means for profit growth if it is used widely. It works as a return multiplier, and with each passing year, the interest that investors receive grows because they earn interest on interest. If you want maximum returns on your savings and investments, investments that offer compound interest calculations can be a viable option. So let's have an example. So take a look at this. Using the simple and the compound interest. If you invest $100 and get interest 10% per year, using the simple interest, in 1 year, you will get or you will have $110. In 2 years, you'll have $120. In 3 years, you'll have $130. And now using the compound interest. So using the compound interest, with the same example, in 1 year you will get $110. In 2 years, you will have $121, which is higher interest when you use the simple interest. As well as in 3 years, you will have $133.1, a higher interest when you use a simple interest. So when you're going to invest, it's up to you. It's your choice. It's either you'll choose the simple interest or the compound interest.
Good day. Welcome to La Bank. I'm Joshua Marta Pascual, the manager in this bank. I am assure you that your money is safe in our bank. That our bank will help you to save, secure your money. If you are looking for the bank to invest, save, and secure your money, this is the best and right decision you made to come here in our bank. So let us talk about what choices to be offered. First is the simple interest. Simple interest is calculated on the principal or original amount of a loan. In simple interest, interest for all years is same. So here is the example or some of example for you to understand more about simple interest. So example number 1, Madam invested 5,000 for 3 years with an interest rate of 6%. Simple interest is determined by multiplying the principal, rate, and time in years. So interest is equals to principal times rate times time. We substitute all the given, which is 5,000 multiplied by 0.06 multiplied by 3 is equals to 900. So Madam will earn 900 peso of interest. Another example, if Mr. Reyes wanted to invest 500,000 in 5 years with an interest rate of 6%, how much will it be? So every year it will earn 30,000. So it will increase to 650,000 after 5 years. Last example for simple interest. If I will invest 90,000, how much it will be after 7 years? So 90,000 multiplied by 0.06 multiplied by 7 is equals to 37,800. So it will earn 37,800 after 7 years. The second choice is the compound interest. Compound interest is calculated on the principal amount and also on the accumulated interest of previous periods and can thus be regarded as interest on interest. Here are some examples to understand more compound interest. Here is the example number 1. If you invest 30,000 in 3 years at 6% compounding yearly, how much would it be? So, A is equals to P multiplied by 1 plus rate divided by N times to the power of NT is equals to, we substitute all the given, which is A is equals to 30,000 multiplied by 1 plus 0.06 divided by 1 multiplied to the power of 3. So it will be A is equals to 30,000 multiplied by 1.19. So it will increase to 35,730.48 after 3 years. Another example, if 350 peso invested at 6% for 9 years compounding yearly, how much would it be? So, 350 multiplied by 1.68 or 69, so it will increase to 591.32 after 9 years. Last is, you wanted to invest 5,000 peso for 2 years with an interest rate of 6% compounding yearly, how much would it be? So in 2 years, it will earn 5,618. So that's all. I hope you understand more about simple interest and compound interest. And I hope you invest in our bank. God bless.
Good day everyone, I'm April Romel and today I'm your manager at Masilang Enterprise and I'm here to discuss to you the usefulness of simple and compound interest. So first, what is simple interest? Simple interest is calculated by multiplying the daily interest rate by the principal by the number of days that elapse between payments. To understand how simple interest works, I'm going to give you 3 examples. First example, a 2-year loan of 500,000 pesos with 5% simple interest rate. Here, after 2 years, you only have to pay additional 50,000 pesos to the principal, as compared when it is computed with compound interest that you have to pay additional 51,250 pesos. Why is that? Because simple interest rate works in your favor when you're a borrower, because it keeps the overall amount lower than it would be with compound interest. Example number 2. Consider a car loan that has a 10,000 principal balance and an annual 5% simple interest rate. If your due date is on July 1 and you pay it precisely on the due date, the finance company charges you interest for the 30 days of June. Your interest in this scenario is 41.09 for 30 days. However, if you make the payment on June 21, the finance company charges you interest for only 20 days of June, dropping your interest payment to 27.39 pesos. And why is that? Because simple interest is calculated on a daily basis, and it mostly benefits consumers who pay their loans on time or early each month. Last example in simple interest, amortization. Amortization refers to the process of paying off debt over time in regular installments of interest and principal sufficient to repay the loan in full by its maturity date. Scenario, you have loaned 100,000 pesos for 5% simple interest rate for 1 year, and lender lets you pay your debt through monthly installment. Calculating it after 1 year, you have to pay 105,000 pesos in total. And since it is monthly installment, dividing it by 12 months, you have to pay 8,750 pesos each month to fully pay the 105,000 pesos after 1 year. And next is compound interest. Compound interest is interest calculated on the initial principal, which also includes all of the accumulated interest from previous periods on loans or deposits. In other words, interest on interest. And to understand how that works, I'm going to give you 3 examples. First example, you have invested 1 million pesos. at 4% interest rate per annum for 2 years compounded monthly. Calculating it after 2 years, your investment 1 million pesos becomes 1,083,142.95 pesos. But when it's computed in simple interest, it will only become 1,080,000 pesos. Compound interest works in your favor when you're an investor. It keeps the invested amount grow faster than it would be in simple interest. My second example is based on facts, attracting investor. Compound interest opens doors to source of income for a company. For example, businesses can please investors by earning them higher profit than expected. Financial managers are expected to give dividends to investors. If these dividends are accumulated, or more precisely compounded, higher dividends may be payable the next year. Compound interest works as multiplier because I earn interest on interest. For instance, you know that I'm giving high compound interest rate per annum and compounded monthly. Are you not attracted to invest on my bank? My third example is also based on facts. Ensuring pension payments. Various companies seek assistance of investment accounts to pay pensions. Typically, employers exclude a fixed amount of their employers' salaries and contribute it to their pension fund. Businesses use the money in pension funds to invest in financial instruments that pay guaranteed return rates. This helps to generate a smooth cycle of pension payments. Making it clear, companies use the money in pension fund and investment to generate more profit. We can relate it when you invest your money to a bank. Why bank return your money with interest? Because bank use your money to lend to another people and start another business to generate more profit. And this process is effectively enhanced by the concept of compound interest. And that's all for this video presentation. Just a gentle reminder for everyone, either in simple or compound interest, pay your due on time. Again, I'm April Romel, your manager at Masilang Enterprise. Please invest in my bank and thank you for your time.
Good day to our dear investors. My name is Edlin Jane Galakgak, Manager of BSE2B Bank. Today I will discuss to you simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest is a quick and easy method of calculating the interest charge of a loan or investment. We use the formula interest equals principal times rate times time, while compound interest is the addition of interest to the principal sum of a loan or investment. It is a result of reinvesting interest. We use the formula A equals principal times the quantity of 1 plus rate over n, which is a compounded period, raised to n, the compounded period, times time. Let me have an example. If we compute the simple interest of 10,000 pesos with the interest rate of 20%, in 10 years, the formula is I equals PRT. Then we will substitute each value. Then we will have I equals 10,000 times 0.20, the 20%, times 10. Then we will have 20,000. But if we compute that in a compound interest, compounded annually, we will have A equals principal times the quantity of 1 plus rate over n raised to n times t. Then we will substitute each value. We will have 10,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.20 over 1 is 0.20 raised to 1 times 10, which is 10. Then we will have 61,917.36. If we subtract 10,000, which is the principal amount, to 61,917.36, we will have 51,917.36, which is our interest. If we do side to side to simple interest and compound interest, we will realize that compound interest is better than the simple interest if we do investment. Another example is if we invest 20,000 pesos with the interest rate of 10%, in 5 years, if we compute that in a simple interest, we will have I equals PRT, the formula. Then we will substitute the value, which is 20,000 times 0.10 times 5. We will have 10,000. While if we compute that in compounded annually, we will have A equals P times the quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to N times T, the formula. Then we will substitute the values. We will have 20,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.10 over 1. Then we will have 0.1 raised to 5. Our compound interest will be 32,210.2. If we subtract the principal amount, which is 20,000 to 32,210.2, we will have 12,210.2. That is our interest. Then we will have the side to side of the simple interest and compound interest. We will know that compound interest is 2,210.2 higher than the simple interest. They will have another example. If we invest 100,000 with the 10% interest in 2 years, if we compute that in a simple interest, we will have I equals 100,000 times 0.10, the rate, times 2, the time. We will have 20,000. Our interest in simple interest is 20,000. If we compute that in compounded annually, we will have A equals 100,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.1 over 1, which is 0.1, raised to 1 times 2 is 2. We will have 121,000. If we subtract the principal amount, we will have 21,000. Compound interest is still much higher than the simple interest with a difference of 1,000.
Hi, I am Laika Azurcon, and I am the manager of this bank, and it's a pleasure to meet you. And I am here to prove to you that investing and be part of our growing business is a big opportunity to you to grow your wealth that you already have. So, let's start. We have two options to invest. The first one is simple interest and the second one is compound interest. So, to understand how simple interest works, here are some examples. So, assume that you invest a total amount of 200,000 pesos with an interest rate of 8% for 3 years. So, we will going to use the formula I is equal to PRT. And 200,000, which is the principal, and 0.08 the interest rate, and 3 years the time. So we multiply 200,000 by 0.08 times 3 years. You will earn 48,000 in 3 years. So another example, imagine that you are investing 100,000 pesos with an interest rate of 4% for 2 years. Like what we used formula, we're going to use again the I is equal to PRT. So 100,000 pesos times 0.04 times 2 years. So you will earn 8,000 in 2 years. So another, expect that you are investing 20,000 with an interest rate of 12% for 3 years. So we will going to multiply and we will going to use again the formula. 20,000 times 0.12 times 3 years, you will earn 7,200 pesos. Your another option is compound interest. Assume that you invest a total amount of 200,000 pesos with an interest rate of 8% for 3 years.
compounded 2 times per year. So the formula that we will going to use is A is equal to P multiplied by the quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to NT. So 200,000 pesos times 1 plus 0.08 over 2 raised to 6 is equal to the amount 108,243.21 pesos. So, to get the compound interest, we're going to subtract the amount by the principal. So, 108,243.21 minus 100,000 is equal to 8,243.29 pesos. Say you invest a total of 100,000 pesos with an interest rate of 4% for 2 years compounded 2 times per year. So, we will going to use again the formula A is equal to P multiplied by the quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to NT. So, 100,000 pesos multiplied by 1 plus 0.04 over 2 raised to 8. A is equal to 117,165.94 pesos. So, to solve the compound interest, we will going to subtract 100,000 by 117,165.94. So, 117,165.94 divided by 100,000 is equal to 17,165.94 pesos. Another example, imagine that you invest 20,000 pesos with an interest rate of 12% for 2 years compounded 2 times per year. So, we will going to use the formula A is equal to P multiplied by the quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to NT. 20,000, which is the principal, times the 1 plus 0.12 over 2 raised to 6. The amount is equal to 28,370.38. Subtract by 20,000. The compound interest is 8,370.38 pesos. And that's the difference between simple interest and compound interest. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Salarina I. Flores from BSc2B, major in Mathematics. I will present to you how to convince the investor to invest in a prestigious bank in the country using simple interest and compound interest as a real manager. I will present to you 3 examples using it in 3 different scenarios. Here is the example number 1. Good morning, ma'am. What can I do for you? If you want to invest your money here in our bank, it is the right choice because we assure to you that your money is safe here. This is a prestigious bank. We have 12% interest rate per annum. Okay, half of your savings. Ma'am, more principal amount and more long period of time of your money invested, the more interest gain in your investment. Okay. So that's good. Nice decision, ma'am. So all your savings now is you want to invest. It's worth 1 million pesos. And how long? Oh, in 5 years. I just want to let you know your investment will it be when computing in simple interest and in compound interest. Simple interest is the money that received in a certain period is a fixed percentage of the principal amount. We have the formula or pattern in computing simple interest. Total amount is equal to principal times 1 plus interest rate times in years. We have principal amount 1 million. Our rate is 12%. We change it in decimal point 12. Our time is 5 years. We substitute the value 1 million times 1 plus 0.12 times 5 is equal to 1 million times 1.6. So, your investment now, it will become 1,600,000 pesos. Compound interest is calculated on the principal amount and also on the accumulated interest of a previous period and can thus be recorded as interest on interest. We have formula or pattern in computing compound interest. Total amount is equal to principal times 1 plus interest rate over number compounded of period raised to number of compounded period times in years. So we have the principal amount 1 million. Our rate is 12%. We change it in decimal point 12. Our number of compounded period is 1 because per annum, our time is 5 years, so we substitute the value. 1 million times 1 plus 0.12 over 1 raised to 1 times 5 is equal to 1,1,762,341,683. So our investment now, it will become 1,762,341 and 69 centavos. Good morning, sir. What can I serve it to you? You want to invest money and you know how much it will become after 3 years. Sir, more principal amount and more period of time you invest, the more interest you gain. We have 12% interest per annum. How much you want to invest, sir? 100,000 pesos. We have simple interest and compound interest to compute it. Simple interest is the money that you receive in a certain period of time is a fixed percentage of the principal amount. We have formula or pattern in computing simple interest. Total amount is equal to principal amount times 1 plus interest rate times time in years. We have principal amount 100,000 and the rate is 12%. We change it in decimal point 12 and the time is 3 years. We substitute the value 100,000 times 1 plus 0.12 times 6 is equal to 100,000 times 1.36. Now, your investment, it will become 136,000 pesos. Compound interest is calculated on the principal amount and also on the accumulated interest of previous period and can thus be regarded as interest on interest. We have formula or pattern in computing compound interest. Total amount is equal to principal amount times 1 plus interest rate over number compounded period raised to the number compounded period times time in years. We have principal amount 100,000. Our rate is 12%. We change it in decimal point 12. Our time is 3 years. We compounded it per annum. We substitute the value 100,000 times 1 plus 0.12 over 1 raised to the power 100 times 3 is equal to 100,000 times 1.404928. Our investment, it will become 140,492 pesos and 80 centavos. Good morning, ma'am. What can I serve it to you? You're inquiring for the condition of investment. Our bank has named. Your money is safe here. We have 12% interest rate per annum. If we have more principal amount and have long period of time, the more interest you gain. We have good condition of service. Why don't you try, ma'am? How much you want to invest? 500,000 pesos. How long? 8 years. I just want to let you know how much you invest it will be in simple interest and in compound interest. Simple interest is the money that you receive in a certain period of time is a fixed percentage of principal amount. In computing simple interest, we have formula or pattern. Total amount is equal to principal amount times 1 plus interest rate times time in years. We have principal amount 500,000 pesos and the rate is 12%. We change it in decimal point 12 and the time is 8 years. We substitute the value 500,000 times 1 plus 0.12 times 8 is equal to 500,000 times 1.96. So, your investment, it will become 980,000 pesos. Compound interest is calculated on the principal amount and also on the accumulated interest of previous period and can thus be regarded as interest on interest. In computing compound interest, we have formula or pattern. Total amount is equal to principal amount times 1 plus interest rate over number compounded period raised to number compounded period times time in years. We have principal amount 500,000 pesos and the rate is 12%. We change it in decimal point 12 and the time is 8 years it compounded per annum. We substitute the value. 500,000 times 1 plus 0.12 over 1 raised to 1 times 8 is equal to 500,000 times 2.975963176. So, we have your investment now, it will be 1,237,981 pesos and 60 centavos.
Good day everyone, I'm Marica de la Cruz and I'm here to present what is simple interest and compound interest. So first, what is simple interest? Simple interest is paid only the principal of a loan and not on any interest from previous periods of the loan or deposit. Also, it's a quick and easy method of calculating the interest charged on a loan. Simple interest is determined by multiplying the daily interest rate by the principal by the number of days that elapse between payments. So here's the formula for simple interest. I is equal to PRT, where principal or P is the amount of money deposited or borrowed. Interest rate or R is the percent of the principal earned or paid. Time or T is the length of time the money is deposited or borrowed. So after the simple interest, let's move on compound interest. So what is compound interest? Compound interest is the interest on a loan or deposit calculated based on both the initial principal and the accumulated interest from previous periods, or in the addition of interest to the principal sum of a loan or deposit, or in other words, interest on interest. It is the result of reinvesting interest rather than paying it out, so that interest in the next period is then earned on the principal sum plus previously accumulated interest. So here's the formula for compound interest. A is equal to P times 1 plus R over N raised to the NT, where A, the future value of the investments or loan, including interest. P, the principal investment amount. R, the annual interest rate. And the number of times that interest is compounded per unit. T, the time the money is invented or borrowed for. Here are some examples of simple interest and compound interest. Example number 1. If you deposit 12,500 pesos in an account that pays 4.5% interest quarterly, what is the balance after 8 years? How much did the account earn in an interest? So let's try the simple interest. So P is equal to 12,500, R is equal to 4.5, but we convert it into the decimal, so it is a 0.045. Then T is equal to 8. So the formula is I is equal to P times R times T. So we substitute it. 12,500 times 0.045 times 8 is equal to 4,500. So the simple interest now is 4,500. So let's try the compound interest. So P is equal to 12,500, rate is equal to 0.045, N is equal to P, then time is equal to 8. So the formula for compound interest is A is equal to P times 1 plus R over N raised to the NT. So we substitute it. 12,500 times 1 plus 0.045 over 4 raised to the 4 times 8. So 12,500 times 1 plus 0.1125 raised to the 32. So is equal to 7,880.64 centavos. So the answer now, the account gained 7,880.64 in 8 years. So let's try another example. Example number 2. If you deposit 4,000 pesos in an account that pays 2.92% interest semi-annually, what is the balance after 5 years? How much did the account earn in interest? So we try it into the simple interest. So P is equal to 4,000, R is equal to 2.92, but we convert it into the decimal, so it is a 0.0292, then time is equal to 5. So the formula now is I is equal to P times R times T. Then we substitute it. 4,000 times 0.0292 times 5 is equal to 584. So the simple interest is 584. But we try it into the compound interest. So P is equal to 4,000, R is equal to 0.0292, N is equal to 2, then time is equal to 5. So the formula now is A is equal to P times 1 plus R over N raised to the NT. Then we substitute it. 4,000 times 1 plus 0.0292 over 2 raised to the 2 times 5. Then 4,000 times 1 plus 0.146 raised to the 10. 4,000 times 1.0146 raised to the 10 is equal to 4,623.9 centavos. So now, the account gained 4,623.9 T in the 5 years. So let's try another example. Example number 3. Sarah deposits 4,000 pesos at the bank and an interest rate of 4.5% per year. So how much interest will she earn at the end of 3 years? So let's try it into the simple interest. So P is equal to 4,000. R is equal to 0.045. Then the time is equal to 3. So the formula now is I is equal to PRT. Then we substitute it. 4,000 times 0.045 times 3 is equal to 540. So now the simple interest is 540. But we try it into the compound interest again. So P is equal to 4,000. R is equal to 0.045. And N is equal to 12. T is equal to 3. So the formula now is A is equal to P times 1 plus R over N raised to the NT. Then we substitute it. 4,000 times 1 plus 0.045 over 12 raised to the 12 times 3. So 4,000 times 1.00375 raised to the 36. So now the answer is 4,730.88 centavos. So now she earns 4,730.88 at the end of 3 years. So that's all. I hope you will invest in our bank. Thank you.
Welcome to South Bank, where your money is safe with us. I'm Janela Grace de la Cruz, the manager of South Bank. If you borrow or invest to this bank, there is a process on how to calculate the profit of your investment and interest of the money you borrowed. First is the simple interest. This is the simple and easy way to calculate the interest of the money you borrow. For example, I want to borrow 50,000 from the bank and the interest rate is 5% for 1 year. In simple interest, we are using a formula which is A is equal to P times 1 plus RT. For substituting, A is the total profit, P is the principal amount, R is for the interest rate, and T for the time in years. So A is equal to principal amount which is 50,000 multiplied by 1 plus interest rate which is 5%, but we turn 5% into decimal, so interest rate is 0.05. And for time in years is 1 year, then calculate. So the total money that I have to pay in a year is 52,500 pesos. Another example, you want to invest 3,000 for 3 years and the rate is 5%. So substitute again the given value. So A is equal to 3,000 multiplied by 1 plus 0.05 multiplied by 3. So the total profit is 3,450 pesos. Third example is Ali wants to invest 100,000 for 5 years and the rate of the money is 10% for 5 years. Like the other example, we substitute first the given value. So A is equal to 100,000 pesos multiplied by 1 plus 0.1 multiplied by 5. So the total profit is 150,000 pesos. The second process is compound interest, which is interest or interest on interest. For calculating the compound interest, we are using a formula which is A is equal to P multiplied by 1 plus R over N raised to the power of N multiplied by T. For example, let's say you invest 10,000 in 5 years and you get 10% interest rate compounded monthly. So substitute the value. A is equal to P, which is 10,000 multiplied by 1 plus R, which is 0.1 over N, which is 12 raised to the power of N, which is 12 multiplied by T, which is 5. So the total money you invest after 5 years is 16,453.09 pesos. Another example is Maria invested 2,000 pesos for 2 years and compounded 2 times per year and the interest rate is 5%. So substitute the given value. A is equal to 2,000 multiplied by 1 plus 0.05 divided by 2 raised to the power of 2 multiplied by 2. So the total money that Maria invested after 2 years is 2,207.63 pesos. Another example is Joseph invested 8,000 pesos for 12 years and the rate is 8% compounded 2 times per year. Substitute the given value. So A is equal to 8,000 multiplied by 1 plus 0.08 divided by 2 raised to the power of 2 multiplied by 12. So the total money that Joseph earned for 12 years is 20,506.43 pesos. So you have already seen how we total the interest of the money you want to borrow and also the profit of the money you want to invest. We will give you a small interest when you borrowed money in our bank. Your money is safe and will definitely make money in South Bank. So what are you waiting for? Invest now.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Abigail Said Guzman, and I'm the manager of the AB International Bank. I am here to convince you to invest in our bank because it can provide you with many benefits. There are some examples that I will discuss with you later about simple and compound interest and the people who trusted and invested in our bank. Lastly, I will explain the usefulness and how significant to know the simple and compound interest. Simple interest is a quick and easy method of calculating the interest charged on a loan. In finding the simple interest, we have the formula I is equal to PRT, where I is the simple interest, P is the principal amount, R is the annual interest rate, and T is the time in years. And these are the people who invested in our bank. The first one is Mr. Dabler Enrile deposits 15,000 pesos at AB International Bank at an interest rate of 7% per year. How much interest will Mr. Enrile earn at the end of 3 years? To find the simple interest, we simply multiply the principal amount, which is 15,000 pesos, times the annual interest rate, which is 7%, and the time in years, which is 3 years. First, we have to change 7% into decimal, so we will have 0.07 times 15,000 pesos times 3, which is equal to 3,100 pesos. Another one is Mr. Sebi Camero had the interest 8,000 pesos was earned at interest rate of 4% in 4 years. How much should be invested in AB International Bank to acquire the given simple interest? The first thing that we have to do is to organize the list of information that we need from the given problem. 8,000 equals P, which is the unknown variable, times 4%. We have to change this into decimal, so we will have 0.04 times 4 years. P times 0.04 times 4 is equal to 0.16P, then divide both sides by 0.16. The principal amount will be 15,000 pesos. Let us have the last example, which is Mr. Calix Martinez is investing 17,000 pesos for 2 years, and the interest rate is 5.5%. How much interest will Mr. Martinez earn after 2 years? We multiply the principal amount, which is 17,000 pesos, times the annual interest rate, which is 5.5%, and the time in years, which is 2 years. Change the percent to decimal, so we will have 0.055 times 17,000 pesos times 2, which is equal to 1,870 pesos. We will move on to compound interest. Compound interest is another common method of computing for the interest. This method, in contrast to simple interest, computes interest more than once during the term of the loan or investment. Compound interest yields considerably higher interest than simple interest because the investor is earning interest on the interest. To solve for the compound interest, we have the formula A is equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to NT, where A is the future value, P is the principal or initial value, R is the interest rate, N is the number of compounding periods, and T is the time in years.
If Mr. Akihiro Suarez deposits 29,500 pesos at 10% annual interest compounded yearly, how much money will be in his account after 5 years? We have the formula A is equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to NT. The principal amount is 29,500 pesos times the quantity of 1 plus 10%. Transform it into decimal 0.10 divided by 1 raised to 1 times 5. And then, by simplifying it further, we will have A is equal to 29,500 times the quantity of 1.10 raised to 5. At the end of 5 years, he will have 47,510.05 pesos. Next is Mr. Clyden Ramirez invested 7,500 pesos at 5% for 10 years compounded quarterly. We have the formula A is equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to NT. Our principal amount is 7,500 pesos times the quantity of 4 plus 5%. Transform it into decimal 0.05 divided by 4. Why 4? Because it is compounded quarterly. That is the number of compounding period raised to 4 times 10. And by simplifying it further, we will have A is equal to 7,500 times the quantity of 1.0125 raised to 40. The answer will be 12,327.15 pesos. Last is, if Mr. Maxwell Del Valle deposit 4,000 pesos at 6% annual interest compounded monthly, how much money will be in his account after 5 years? The formula A is equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to NT. Our principal amount is 4,000 pesos times the quantity of 1 plus 6%. Transform it into decimal 0.06 divided by 12. Why 12? Because it is compounded monthly. That is the number of compounding period raised to 12 times 5. And then by simplifying it further, we will have A is equal to 4,000 times the quantity of 1.005 raised to 60. At the end of 10 years, he will have the interest, which is 9,441.95 pesos. In conclusion, the difference between simple and compound interest is this. Simple interest grows slowly while compound speeds up the process. Simple interest is interest on the principal amount, and compound interest is when your principal and any earned interest both earn interest. This is the manager of AB International Bank. That's all for today. Thank you and God bless.
It's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep. Hello world, I am Daryl B. Domingo and I am the manager of DBD Bank. If you want your hard-earned money to grow fast, and it comes with a small interest if you are going to loan, in DBD Bank, we find ways. So what are you waiting for? Invest and loan now. Hi, I'm here to explain the difference between simple and compound interest. So first is simple interest. Simple interest works in your favor when you are a borrower because it keeps the overall amount that you pay lower than it would be with compound interest. How about compound interest? Compound interest works in your favor when you are the investor because your money makes grow at a faster rate than simple interest. Because in addition to earning returns on the money you invest, you can also earn returns on those returns at the end of every compounding period, which could be daily, monthly, quarterly, or annually. In DBD Bank, we have 5% interest annually if you make a loan or if you want to invest. Here are some examples. Let's start in simple interest. If you borrowed 10,000 in DBD Bank at the interest rate of 5% annually, how much interest will you pay in the end of 2 years? The formula for solving simple interest is I is equal to P times R times T. So I is equal to 10,000 times 0.05 times 2. So the interest is 1,000. Then the total amount is 11,000. What if you borrowed 200,000 pesos for 5 years at 5% simple interest? So I is equal to 200,000 times 0.05 times 5. So I is equal to 50,000. The total value that you need to pay after 5 years is 250,000 pesos. If you borrowed 500,000 for 10 years at 5% annually in simple interest, I is equal to 500,000 times 0.05 times 10. So the interest is 250,000 and the total amount is 750,000 pesos. In compound interest, the formula is A is equal to P times 1 plus R divide N raised to NT. Example number 1, if you invest 10,000 pesos at 5% compounded annually, how would you pay after 2 years? So A is equal to 10,000 times 1 plus 0.05 divide 1 raised to 1 times 2. So A is equal to 10,000 times 1.05 raised to 2 is equal to 11,025 pesos. How about 200,000 at 5% compounded annually? How would after 5 years? A is equal to 200,000 times 1 plus 0.05 divide 1 raised to 1 times 5. A is equal to 200,000 times 1.05 raised to 5 is equal to 255,256.31 pesos. If 500,000 in 10 years at 5% compounded annually, so A is equal to 500,000 times 1 plus 0.05 divide 1 raised to 1 times 10. So A is equal to 500,000 times 1.05 raised to 10 is equal to 814,447.31 pesos.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Welcome to Ace Bank. I'm Arnold Amuro, the manager of this bank. Before we proceed to this meeting, I will explain the uses of getting is simple interest. What is simple interest? Simple interest is quick and easy method of calculating the interest charge loan. Simple interest is the amount of interest earned on the original amount of money invested. The second one, compound interest. What is compound interest? Compound interest is how your money makes money behave. If you invested, it means you not only earn a return on the initial amount of your investment, but also earn a return on your earning. For you to understand, I will give example of each interest. For example number 1, Martha invests to Ace Bank at amount of 100,000 at a rate of 10% in 5 years. How much interest Martha can be earned? With a simple interest, we solved at the formula I equals PRT. I of interest, P for principal, R for rate, and T time of year. I equals P times R times T. I equals 100,000 times 0.10 times 5. I equals 50. Martha earned 50,000 in simple interest. We compound annually. to compound interest. A equals P, the quantity of 1 plus R all over N raised NT. A equals 100,000, the quantity of 1 plus 0.10 all over 1 raised 1 times 5. A equals 100, the quantity of 1.10 raised 5. A equals 161,051. Martha earned 161,051 pesos in compound interest. Sample number 2. Joanne invests to Ace Bank at amount of 50,000 at a rate of 10% in 2 years. How much Joanne's interest can earn? In the simple interest, I equals P times R times T. I equals 50,000 times 0.10 times 2. I equals 10,000. Joanne earned 10,000 amount in simple interest. We compound monthly. A equals P, the quantity of 1 plus R all over N raised NT. A equals 50,000, the quantity of 1 plus 0.10 all over 12 raised 12 times 2. A equals 50,000, the quantity of 1.008 and so on raised to 24. A equals 50,000, the quantity of 1.2220 and so on. A equals 61,019.55. Joanne earned 61,019.55 in compound interest. For example number 3, Ivan invests to Ace Bank at amount of 10,000 at a rate of 10% in 3 years. How much interest Ivan can earn? In the simple interest, I equals P times R times T. I equals 10,000 times 0.10 times 3. I equals 3,000. Ivan earned 3,000 in simple interest. A equals 10,000 times 1.340 and so on. And A equals 13,400.96. Ivan earned 13,400.96 in compound interest. A equals 10,000 times 1.340 and so on. And A equals 13,400.96. Ivan earned 13,400.96 in compound interest. Thank you for coming to this meeting and for your investment. That's all. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I'm Mr. Jeremy Parungaw Mina. I am the manager of JPM Bank, and if you want to invest or loan in JPM Bank, you are in a good bank. Let me introduce to you what is simple interest. Simple interest is determined by multiplying and daily interest rate by the principal by the number of days that elapse between payment, and the formula for simple interest is I is equal to P times R times T. I is the simple interest, P is the principal or the initial value, R is the rate, and T is the time in years. Example of simple interest is, first, Raymond is loaned 50,000 in 2 years. Simple interest rate of 5%. What is the interest earned. Always take a moment to identify the values that given in the problem. Here are the given. Principal or fee is 50,000. The rate is 5%. Write this in decimal. So 5% is become 0.05. And time in years is 2 years. Let's substitute all the given values. I is equal to 50,000 times 0.05 times 2. So the simple interest is equal to 5,000. So 5,000 is the interest earned. In this example, the given is in years. What about the given is in month? Let's take another example. Your 1,100 is invested at the simple interest rate of 7% for 4 months. How much interest earned on this investment? Before we can apply the formula, we will need to write the time of 4 months into terms of years. Since there are 12 months in year, T is equal to 4 over 12. T or time is equal to 1/3. With the adjusted to years, we can now apply the formula. I is equal to 1,100 times 0.07. To get 0.07 is 7% divided by 100 is 0.07 times 1/3. So the simple interest is equal to 19.25. So the interest earned on this investment is 19.25. Let's take another example in simple interest regarding the future value, and the formula for future value is A is equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus R times T. Example, you have a business and you take out a simple interest loan of 80,000 pesos at a rate of 9%. What is total amount that will you repay if your loan is for 6 years? The total amount will you repay is the future value. A are also given that. T is 8, R is 9%, is become to 0.09. P is 80,000. Using simple interest formula for future value, we calculate or solve this problem. So we substitute all the given value. A is equal to 80,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.09 times 8. 80,000 times 1.72 is equal to 137,600. So, will you pay back a total of 137,600? Another is the compound interest. What is compound interest? Is interest calculated interest from previous period on a deposit or loan. The formula for compound interest is A is equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to N times T. A is amount or future value of the investment. P is the principal or the initial amount. R is the interest rate. T is the time in years, and N is the number of times interest is compounded per unit or T. Example, you have a total money of 5,000 and you decide to deposit your money into a saving account at the annual interest rate of 5% compounded monthly. The question is, what is the value of your investment after 10 years? Let's analyze first the given value. P is equal to 500, R is 5%, is become to 0.05, N is 12, and T is 10. Let's substitute all the given value. A is equal to 5,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.05 over 12 raised to 12 times 10. A is equal to 5,000 times the quantity of 1.004666667 raised to 120. So 5,000 times the quantity of 1.6470094983 is equal to 8,235.05. Your saving is 8,235.05 after 10 years. In this example, your principal is lower. What about your principal is higher? Let's take another example. Your friend is decide to deposit her 50,000 pesos money into a saving account at annual interest rate of 5%. Now, what is her total money after 5 years? Let's analyze first the given value. P is 50,000, R is 5%, is become to 0.05. D is 5 years, N is 1 because yearly. Substitute all the given value. A is equal to 50,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.05 over 1 raised to 1 times 5. So 50,000 times the quantity of 1.005 raised to 5 is equal to 50,000 times the quantity of 1.27628,15625 is equal to 63,814.08. Her total money after 5 years is 63,814.08. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learn how to manage your money and you choose a bank that your money is sure and safety company.
A pleasant day, everyone. I am Angel Gloniculas, the manager of Amity Bank, one of the most prestigious banks here in the Philippines, and I am here to discuss to you how interest works in our company, together with its benefits and usefulness. Also, to prove to all of you that investing in our bank is the most valuable investment you will make, because in Amity Bank, we got you. Amity Bank is a shoulder to lean on, and who you can trust on bank that offers two types of interest, which are simple interest and compound interest. Please allow me to discuss the difference of these two by giving some examples on how it actually works. First, simple interest. It is the interest that you can earn from the money you originally invested. So here are some examples on simple interest and how it actually works. Assume that you are investing a 125,000 for 7 years with an interest rate of 7%. Each year, you will earn 8,750 pesos, and after 7 years, you will earn 61,200 pesos from the 125,000 money you invested. Next example, expect that you are investing an overall amount of 275,000 pesos with an interest rate of 7% for 6 years. Each year, you will earn 19,250 pesos, and after 6 years, you will earn 115,500 pesos from the 275,000 pesos money you invested. Another example is, imagine that you invest a total amount of 150,000 with an interest rate of 7% for 4 years. Each year, you will earn 10,500 pesos, and after 4 years, you will earn 42,000 pesos from the 150,000 money you invested. It came up with those results by applying the formula of simple interest, which is I is equal to PRT, where P is the total amount of money you invested, R is the proposed interest rate our company offered, and T is the time wherein you are going to invest your money in our bank. On the other hand, compound interest is an interest on interest. And again, please allow me to give some examples, and I will use the same example I used in simple interest to note the difference of the two. First example, assume that you are investing a 125,000 for 7 years with an interest rate of 7% and compounded annually. For the first year, you will earn 8,750 pesos. For the second year, you will earn 9,363 pesos. For the third year, you will earn 10,018 pesos. For the fourth year, you will earn 10,719 pesos. For the fifth year, you will earn 11,470 pesos. For the sixth year, you will earn 12,271 pesos. And for the seventh year, you will earn 13,131 pesos. After 7 years, you will earn 75,723 pesos from the 125,000 money you invested. Next example. Expect that you are investing an overall amount of 275,000 pesos with an interest rate of 7% for 6 years and compounded annually. For the first year, you will earn 19,250 pesos. For the second year, you will earn 20,598 pesos. For the third year, you will earn 22,039 pesos. For the fourth year, you will earn 23,582 pesos. For the fifth year, you will earn 25,233 pesos. And for the sixth year, you will earn 26,999 pesos. So after 6 years, you will earn a total amount of 137,701 pesos from the 275,000 money you invested. Another example. Imagine that you invest a total amount of 150,000 pesos with an interest rate of 7% for 4 years and compounded annually. For the first year, you will earn 10,500 pesos. For the second year, you will earn 11,235 pesos. For the third year, you will earn 12,021 pesos. And for the fourth year, you will earn 12,863 pesos. So after 4 years, you will earn 46,699 pesos from the 150,000 money you invested. So here is the summary of the interest that you will earn in the simple and compound interest. It came up with those results by applying the formula of compound interest, which is A is equal to P times the quantity of 1 plus R over N raised to N times T, where P is the total amount of money you invested, R is the proposed interest rate our company offered, N is the number of times that interest compounds per year, and T is the time wherein you are going to invest your money in our bank. Now, let's proceed to the usefulness and benefits of simple interest and compound interest. In simple interest, it favors you when you are a borrower, and this is one of the reasons why our bank is the top quality bank because we offer simple interest that help our borrowers to pay less. And having many customers is an assurance for our investors that their investment will be worth it. On the other hand, compound interest, it allows funds to grow at a faster rate. Since compound interest is interest on interest, meaning the longer you invest, the higher you will earn. All in all, Amity Bank is a high-rate, first-class, top-quality bank of all times and the best solution to invest because it offers a lot of opportunities and effective way to increment your money. Since in Amity Bank, we got you. Thank you everyone, keep safe and God bless.
Good day everyone, I'm Jimmy De Leon and I'm here as a manager in a bank. So I will give 3 examples of simple interest and compound interest. Here is the examples of simple interest. Number 1, 7,000 pesos invested at 9% simple interest. The question is, what is the annual interest? Given, principal is 7,000 pesos, rate is 9% or 0.09 and the time is 1 year. The formula of simple interest is I is equal to P times R times T. Then, substitute the given in the formula. 7,000 pesos times 0.09 times 1. Therefore, the annual interest is 630 pesos. Number 2, 4,000 pesos invested at 5.5% interest rate. How much interest will earn after 2 years? Given, principal is 4,000 pesos, rate is 5.5% or 0.055, and time is 2 years. So 4,000 pesos times 0.55 times 2 is equal to 440 pesos. Therefore, the interest after 2 years is 440 pesos. Number 3, 10,000 pesos invested in a savings account that earned 2% simple interest. Find the interest earned for 3 years. Given, principal is 10,000 pesos, rate is 2% or 0.02, and time is 3 years. Then 10,000 pesos times 0.02 times 3 equals 600 pesos. The interest is 600 pesos. Here is the compound interest. compound interest will make a deposit or loan grow at a faster rate than simple interest, which is interest calculated only on the principal amount. So, here is the examples of compound interest. Number 1, 10,000 pesos invested at 4.5% for 8 years compounded yearly. Find the interest. Given, principal is 10,000 pesos, rate is 4.5% or 0.045, n is 1, and time is 8 years. The formula of compound interest. Compound interest is equal to principal times the quantity of 1 plus rate divided by n raised to n times t. Then substitute the given in the formula. 10,000 pesos times the quantity of 1 plus 0.045 divided by 1 raised to 1 times 8. Then 10,000 pesos times 1.045 raised to 8. Therefore, the compound interest is 14,221 pesos. Number 2, 3,500 pesos invested at 5% for 5 years, compounded quarterly. Find the interest. Given, principal is 3,500 pesos, rate is 5% or 0.05, n is 4, and time is 5 years. So, compound interest is 3,500 pesos times the quantity of 1 plus 0.05 divided by 4 raised to 4 times 5. Then, 3,500 pesos times 1.0125 raised to 20. Therefore, the compound interest is 4,487.13 pesos. Number 3, 5,000 pesos invested at 3% for 6 years compounded monthly. Find the interest. Given, principal is 5,000 pesos, rate is 3% or 0.03, n is 12, and times is 6 years. So, compound interest is 5,000 pesos times the quantity of 1 plus 0.03 divided by 12 raised to 12 times 6. Then, 5,000 pesos times 1.0025 raised to 60. Therefore, the compound interest is 5,808.08 pesos. I hope you will invest in our bank. So what are you waiting for? Go to the nearest branch in your location, create an account, and invest now. Thank you for watching and listening, future investors. God bless you all.